Hello again, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us for session 2 of Virtual Event Success Defined. My name is Valley Adams, founder and CEO of Qtego Solutions. That's right, it's Elevate spelled backwards, a national consulting firm to help you elevate your revenue, enhance your fundraising events, expand your mission, and more. I am also a proud female auctioneer and fundraising consultant with Alpert Enterprises.
And I am Jason Alpert, founder and owner of Alpert Enterprises, along with Valley and our partners, Joe Gervin and Jeff Cowan. We serve as much as fundraising and event consultants as we do just auctioneers. And that's why one of the things that we're able to bring you as part of this, these 5 different sessions that we're providing for you, is really what you need to do to take your event virtual. And we have been part of dozens of virtual events to this point, and we're happy to share some of this information with you. So we can all be successful in the virtual format going forward.
Absolutely, Jason. Thanks so much. We are really excited to share with you these 5 individual yet different sessions. It's like a full course packed full of special tips and proven success methods on how to ensure your once in-person event or gala, fundraiser, party with a purpose can be a virtual success. We've all heard it, and I'll say it again. This year, the event world especially, has had to pivot. So Qtego Solutions and Alpert Enterprises has too. Like Jason just said, we've been a part of transitioning dozens of events to virtual success and really would like to share with you our knowledge and experience. These sessions you can watch live or anytime, and they'll show you these secrets from leading industry experts sharing how these virtual events are as mission-driven, fun, engaging, and they are absolutely achieving the needed fundraising goals. So if you're watching us, fantastic. You'll see we're on social media platforms like Facebook, LinkedIn, and Instagram. So please continue to watch and share them with everyone. Be sure to find the pages of Qtego Solutions, Alpert Enterprises, as well as the other members of our team, Joe Gervin and Jeff Cowan. And we're going to show you in these sessions the keys that we believe will unlock the door to your virtual event success.
All right, so here's how we've broken it up. There are 5 different sessions, as we mentioned a few times. Session 1, which was released on Tuesday, September 29th, was how to take your event virtual from a production perspective and how you bring in that AV company to help you put on a good, in essence, television show. Session 2 that you're watching right now was launched on September 30th. This is where we're going to touch on the mobile bidding platforms and how to make sure that you have technology involved in getting the money from your donors and from your auction winners. Session 3 is going to be focusing on the run of show and how do you put together a compelling run of show and script and having a good host or auctioneer to make sure that you're able to execute it. Session 4 will be on Friday, October 2nd, and that's really more on the marketing side of things. How do you make sure that you cast a wide net, and what can you do for your sponsors during the lead up to the event to incentivize them to give before the event? And then session 5 on Monday, October 5th is going to be a live Q&A where Valley, myself, Joe, and Jeff will all be there to be able to answer your questions that either we touched on during the initial sessions and you say, I want more information on that, or maybe there are things that we didn't talk about at all that you want to make sure that we're able to give you insight on. So we will be ready for that by the time we get to session 5 on Monday, October 5th. All right, there are 4 keys to putting on a great, successful event. And really what we try to do is separate those 4 keys throughout all 5 of our sessions, right? Including that 5th one, which will be the live kind of rapid fire Q&A. The 4 keys to a successful event. The first one is a good technology company. And when I say technology company, it's really, as we used to talk about, the AV company, right? Your AV company is no longer a company that's just going to come set up some uplights, put up a few speakers and projection screens. It's really someone to make sure that you put on a good television broadcast. They can not only handle the live stream and the technology that goes with that and where you send your live stream to, but it's also a company that can handle the graphics and the music and really the transitions between the different parts of your program. So you want to lean on a company who has that expertise to make sure that that part of your program is successful.
Absolutely. And the second key that we're going to talk about today, actually in this session, is our mobile services platform. You're going to get to meet one of our incredible industry leaders in the mobile bidding services and learn how and why a mobile bidding platform helps you to get the money, right? We can certainly stand there and help you get the money, but as they say, you don't really have the money until you have the money. And your mobile services platform will ensure that you have the money. And they also have some really great, amazing new features that have been added to ensure that the guests have an incredible experience and overall amazing time, and your virtual event will be successful. So, and also part of this session, we're going to offer some tips on a successful silent auction, live auction, and of course, a very impactful bid from the heart.
Key number 3, and we run through these 1 through 4 keys of putting on a good virtual event. If you've worked with us in the past, or if you get to work with us in the future, you'll know that we're big on our list. So this is just another one of our lists, these 4 keys to putting on a good virtual event. Number 3 is this: you got to have a good run of show. You have to have a good, compelling program with a good script, and a good host or a good auctioneer to execute it. As I mentioned before, because you're putting on a television show, you need someone who is going to really reach out and grab your viewers and your donors and not let them leave, right? When you have an in-person gala, most of the time they're at their tables, they've got food in front of them, they've got an open bar somewhere, and that's oftentimes keeping them there, and you can run your program nevertheless. With this one, we really want to make sure that the ebbs and the flows are perfect, making sure that you have your highs and your lows at the right time. You're using the right keywords to set up the right fundraising part of the program at different times throughout the program. And when do those fundraising parts of the program happen? We're doing as much as we can to incorporate as much user content as we can. So we want your guests and your supporters to send in things prior to your event that we're going to use as part of the program. People like to see themselves and their friends and colleagues as part of the program. So we're really going to hit hard on that script, that run of show, and that's our 3rd key for a good, successful virtual event.
Absolutely. Key 4, we're going to really dive deeper on how to get people from your organization and from the community and from around the world to tune into your virtual event. This virtual world allows us to cast our net so much further. So why not share our mission and fundraising appeal to even more people than ever before? We will share with you some secrets on just how to do that. And also the other 4th part of the key 4 is how we're going to talk about how to win with sponsorships. Because we're able to reach out to more people and cast that net further, there are absolutely ways to sponsor these virtual events, and they shouldn't be overlooked. I know there's a fear out there that's saying, can you still sponsor a virtual event? Absolutely. So let's talk about how to get these great partnerships, great sponsorships, and really leverage them to expand your mission and elevate your event. So with session 2, this is today, and we're including the why of the mobile bidding services platform, how they can and will elevate your event and ensure virtual success. All right, so let's go. It is my pleasure to introduce you to one of the top industry leaders when it comes to taking your live event to the next level. Our guest is someone who knows the A to Z of fundraising events and knows how to absolutely ensure your virtual event will be a success. Please welcome Gregory Smith from Qtego Fundraising Services.
Well, Jason and Valley, thank you so much for having me. I'm excited to just share some tidbits about what we have seen at Qtego Fundraising Services within the industry. It's been a crazy year, to say the least. I think so many of us are so used to these Zoom calls and these GoToMeeting calls and virtual this and a no-show gala. But it's been pretty exciting. It's also been a little rejuvenating, just coming up with new ideas and new ways of fundraising. And I just want to be able to share some of the things that we've seen, maybe some of the things that our team has been up to, just to see if you can take a few ideas and apply it to what you all are doing with your fundraising initiatives. So believe it or not, we've seen your typical run-of-the-mill auction items. So when we're looking at what has been selling in an auction, and I'm talking about mid-March, peak of the pandemic, I saw a cruise get sold at an auction. Believe it or not, somebody purchased a cruise, and this was like mid-April. And so one of the main questions that we get asked is, hey, what are people selling? How many items should we put in our auction? And I'll kind of preface it with saying the typical rules or standards that we've all kind of worked by or lived with in the past, you have to sort of push that off to the side. I think right now in this time, we say get as many items as you can, because what's happening is whether you've been a virtual, mobile bidding organization, or you're coming over from paper to technology, I think one of the key things that we've seen is this is enabling our groups to reach a broader spectrum of people and a larger population. So naturally, what you're going to find is that you've got more people to appeal to. And so you're not fighting against space in your venue, having more items, but you're giving yourself an opportunity for a larger demographic to appeal to. So when it comes to the amount of items, I say go all in, get as many as you can. Still work on the packaging, still work on some catchphrases for your descriptions, but go all in. Another question that we get asked a lot, and I think that this is kind of circulating throughout the fundraising world as a whole, is making that ask. Is it kosher to go up to an establishment, to a restaurant, to a business who's been shut down for months, and ask them, for an auction item? And my answer to that is yes. You are a nonprofit. One of your revenue streams typically is an auction. And it's one of those things too where you'll never know unless you do ask. So whether you're asking for a major gift or you're just asking for an auction package, I think as long as you go into that conversation with genuine transparency with that person, hey, listen, it's obvious what we've all been through. And so I appreciate the fact that you've contributed to our auction the last 4 years. However, we understand if you can't this year, but we would be remiss if we didn't ask you. You've been a long time contributor, so we just want to keep that partnership alive. And it's up to them. I think that as long as they feel your genuineness and your approach, even if they say no, or maybe they can only give half of what they've given before, I think that it's important that you still feel confident to make that ask. Some of the things that we've been doing with our clients is just trying to get them to exercise outside of the box thinking. So maybe you've gone to different spas or restaurants to get items, and maybe this year it's difficult for that business. Why don't you then offer, hey, I understand that you can't maybe afford to give us a gift, but we're actually going to have a virtual event in a couple of weeks, meaning we're going to live stream our event. Would you be okay if some of our donors actually came and watched the virtual event at your establishment? Maybe it's a great opportunity for you to give back to them by, giving them a little rush of business with some of your donors attending their establishment. Have some of your ladies, maybe your committee members, go to the local spa and get their nails done and drink champagne and bid on items. I mean, there's so many different ways that you can go about doing this. So just as a recap, everyone, when it comes to the amount of items, you want to go in, get as many as you can, go in with that ask with genuine transparency, think outside the box, get creative. What are ways that you can involve local community businesses? And so I'm just going to share my screen. I want you to see just a couple of ways that you can do this. So with Qtego, part of our feature and service is an auction catalog where you can showcase sponsors, clickable logos that redirect to their site, and categories, and all of these different packages and multiple images that you can have. And just remember this, throughout this crazy year, if you're kind of deciding, do we do something, do we not do something? This is what we're telling everybody. If you do just a little something this year, it's better than doing nothing at all.
Absolutely. Thanks, Gregory, so much. I mean, this platform and mobile bidding can absolutely elevate an event and just offer so many different services. Do you see, are people buying tickets? Is there this landing page? Like, how does all of this work?
That's actually a really good question, Valley. So landing pages, ticketing. Let's start with the ticketing. I think that one's kind of I'm on the fence with that one even myself. So I'll say this. Obviously, ticket sales play a huge role in revenue for in-person events. Thankfully, we're starting to see hybrid events where we have maybe 50 to 100 people. And yes, I do think that you should charge a ticket for that. But when it comes to maybe charging a ticket to watch the event, whether you're streaming through YouTube, Facebook, or if you wanted a one device solution like Qtego has and you throw the stream through our platform, I think you really need to determine internally with your team, hey, do we have something that would warrant a ticket price? Because a lot of our groups, they're saying, hey, we don't want to charge a ticket. We just want to get as many people in as possible. Then we want to hit them with the fund to need, or we want to get them to purchase, a chance drawing or bid on an auction item. So I think that if you're going to charge a nominal fee, $5, $10, $15, $25, I think it's all in how you make that pitch. I think it's, you have to know your donors. A majority, though, of my clients, they have decided not to charge a ticket because I think they're still trying to figure out, hey, is it kosher to ask people to just watch this? Or are we going to turn people away if I'm charging this fee of 15 or 20 bucks to watch the event? I personally feel like you would have more of an organic reach to people if you made it open to the public, because now what you're doing is you're getting more people. And what happens when you register your phone or your information with Qtego or bidding companies is we're capturing their name, their phone number, their email, their address. That's great lead generation for you. So think about all of the extra, contact information that you can get and that you can be building for your donor database by just opening that up to the public. One of the things that we do is we say incentivize your donors. Everyone who pre-registers by a certain date, you're entered into a chance drawing, and we can randomly select a person. But I think for the ticketing, I think that it's something that you have to make a decision on per your organization on, do we have something that warrants that? Qtego, we've been able to create something that I think is very unique and special in our space, which is a exclusive virtual code. So we have some clients where they want to allow anyone and everyone to bid and to donate, but maybe only allow the ticket purchasers or the VIPs or the sponsors to watch that exclusive stream of their event. And so that is something that we've been able to implement with our services, to where you might have 25% watching, bidding and donating, and then the other 75% just bidding and donating. The other question you had was an event landing page. I think that that's crucial. I think right now when you're trying to reach out to your donors and you're trying to communicate with them virtually, you need something online that represents you as an organization or represents the virtual gala. Just a kind of a quick sample of some of the stuff that we have, showcasing sponsors. I can't tell organizations this enough. Go after your sponsors. It's the best way to get our services paid for, or your AV production crews services paid for. Hopefully your costs are lower now, not being in person, but I still feel like you can get a lot of your expenses covered. Talk about the event, showcase maybe auction items, or showcase things about your organization or your committee. Have a video. Host a virtual watch party. There are so many things that you can do, whether you use us for your homepage or your landing page, or if you use your own. It doesn't really matter. We just think that you definitely need something to bring you back into foot traffic and talking about the event. So yeah, I think that those are two very important things that a group should be thinking about.
Gregory, you talked about the silent auction a little bit and how you all lay that out. I think there's a lot of people who are concerned at an in-person event about doing a live auction and a bid from the heart, or the fund and need as you called it. Now in the virtual world, they're almost even more scared, right? We're certainly seeing the value to still doing that live auction and that bid from the heart. How do mobile bidding companies and Qtego, how do you guys get your arms around that in the virtual format?
Sure. Well, I mean, I really can only speak to how we've been doing things, just because I'm doing it. I mean, I know some of the comparisons. I think we're all just trying to figure it out. And, we're all helping nonprofits, every one of us, bidding companies, we're all here to help. And it's kind of one of those things where we want you to fit in our shoe, but we know that there are so many different shoe sizes and sizes of feet to fit in those shoes. So just get with any technology. Technology is really going to take your group to that next level. I know with Qtego, our team, we've actually been able to, again, create this one device solution. And what does that mean, one device? Well, it means that like I can take one device, my phone, and go anywhere, and I can watch the event, bid on the items, and do that. And so I'll show you briefly what we've been able to do, Jason. What we're looking at here is just a screenshot of our site on a desktop view. And what we've got here on the right is the mobile view. And so with Qtego, again, and any kind of live stream scenario, you should be able to play your stream, whether again you're doing a one device solution or you're streaming it through Facebook or YouTube. One of the things that we thought of initially was, hey, how are our auctioneer and MC friends going to do virtual, live auctions and fund needs? And I think that it's still important to go after that. You should still go after those pre-committed gifts. Go after some of these live auction items. Now, the way that we've been doing it is we actually have the live items biddable, if that's the word. I don't know, correct me if I'm wrong, but for people to be able to bid leading up to the event. And I think get those items up to your donors prior to the event so that they can go in knowing how it works. You are going into the event with revenue already made. But I'll just kind of show you some unique things that we've got here. What we would do is we would have your MC or your auctioneer up here at the top talking. And I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to find an item here, item 111. So let's pretend that item 111 is the first live item. So I think that it's important to have content. You want to maybe have a video. You want to have that MC or that auctioneer talking about that item. What we've done with Qtego is we've been able to create a way where we send everyone's phones directly to a specific item. And you'll see here, I just sent anyone who was registered to that specific item. And so now, as they're watching you up on the screen talking about this item, I can see here that there's a current bid, high bidder, and you submit the bid just like you would a silent auction item. And I'll say this, there are so many different auctioneers and styles. Do you keep the live item up and then close it with everyone's attention on it, just like you would at an in-person event? You could. I also know that there are some other auctioneers or even clients who say, hey, we want to maybe showcase the item, and then let's go ahead and let's move on to the next one, and we'll close them all together at a different time. I don't think that there's a right or wrong way. I think that we've been able to give options, and you just have to kind of pick the one that best fits your event and the style for what you're going for. So with the live auction, at least for us and how I know we're doing it, is your donors will bid on it. We've created, I think, incredible features for the organization and for people like yourselves, Jason and Valley, to where we can give you an MC screen to see these and to talk and banter with the bidders. But if the question is, should we have a live auction or not? The answer is yes. There's a solution out there. Definitely do it. It's where your high dollars come in. And for the clients out there, if I can speak to you, go with Jason, Valley, and his team and their team on anything that they recommend. I know that they've got a lot of intelligence when it comes to this, so definitely don't be bashful when it comes to that live auction. Now, when it comes to the fund to need, and actually let me backtrack. Something just kind of popped in my head. With this is a great opportunity. The way that the virtual live auction is happening, because the bids are coming in, we're tracking all of that data. We've already seen groups go back to the second place, third place, and fourth place bidder of these items. And oftentimes your auctioneers are able to pull some strings and increase your revenue, triple, quadruple fold with some of these amazing packages. So I'm a huge fan of it, Jason. I think that it's an opportunity for organizations to sell that higher end package, to kind of keep in continuity with what they've always done. So definitely go after those live auction packages. When it comes to the fund to need, I think it's equally as important. I also kind of going back to what I said before with not charging a ticket. Get this out to as many people as you can, and then try to get them with the funds in need. So I was just able to send everyone's phone to our donate page. Again, think of the content. Think about a tearjerker video, or having your MC or auctioneer talk about what your cause is. Maybe it's not a tearjerker. Maybe it's, hey, last year, because of your gracious donations, we were able to do this. Hey, guess what? We're back. We've got something else that we have to raise money for. You're not going to make it unless you make that ask. And so with us, with every other mobile bidding company out there, pretty positive we've all got a way for your donors to make donations in real time, right there from the platform. Again, similarly to the live auction, we've got a nice MC screen for the auctioneers to see this and call out the names. But I think that it's just super important to make sure that you drive home that point of who you are and what you're raising money for. I think your two biggest mistakes to make are either one, like I said earlier, you don't do anything in 2020. Okay, I really think that you should do something, whether it's an online auction or a virtual event or a text to give. But then two, if your donors walk away having absolutely no clue who you are and what you're about, then I think that you've failed in your message. And that's why I think all of these different steps and what Jason and Valley are trying to share with you are super important. So just kind of in conclusion on my end, I really appreciate just the opportunity to give you some insight. Hopefully it helps. Hopefully maybe it takes some of you who are on the fence to say, you know what, we can do this. And Jason and Valley, I really appreciate you having me on.
Thanks so much, Gregory. I really loved all of this information and really especially enjoyed seeing firsthand all of the new things that Qtego Fundraising Services has added to ensure the virtual experience is incredible. This definitely will show our viewers that the mobile bidding services is the way to get the money and also offer a seamless event. I really love how we're able to set up an auction, both silent and live. Guests are able to see the pictures, the descriptions of the items. They can bid, they can get notified when they've been outbid. And as we always say, keep bidding, right? Bid high and bid often. This is just another way to prove that virtual events are still engaging and also raising the needed funds. I definitely spoke with a few organizations and they ask, how do we have an auction virtually? And is it possible? Of course, I think, how can you not? It's such a fun and interacting way to engage your audience, really grow your revenue, and just have an awesome virtual event. What types of items can we secure? That's another question. What do we get? What kind of things are selling? And especially during these times, what is the way to go? What are you hearing, Jason? Are you hearing some specific things out there?
I mean, it's crazy because the items that are selling in the auction are not that much different now versus pre-COVID, right? Ultimately, vacations are still selling great. People know vacations are not going away forever. So as long as you get extended expiration dates, you shouldn't have any problem getting vacations and stays in hotels and that sort of thing. That extended expiration date is so important. I mean, we have sold over the past 6 months since the beginning of COVID, we have sold trips to Tuscany in Italy, where all of this, kind of bloomed up from. So we have sold cruises before. We did one event that has 51 live auction items, and of that, 17 of them were cruises. And we sold all the cruises as part of that, all again with extended expiration dates. So please don't stop going to get those trips and vacations. We still believe that dinners are selling really, really well, whether it be a dinner in someone's home or even going out to a restaurant for a nice, dinner for 8 or 10 or 12 people. Ultimately, the restaurants are going to redeem those with as extended expiration date. And if you can have it be done in your home, even better, right? Wine and liquor still selling great. Obviously people will make the joke that it's even more needed now. But ultimately what it comes down to it is if you can get some good wine and liquor and put those together in baskets and packages that people wouldn't normally put together to go out and get that sort of quantity or that sort of quality, those are selling as well. So please don't lean away from going to get the standard staples in your auctions and doing the ask of the organizations who are donating to you before this all started. The one thing that maybe is changing a little bit is that we are seeing people doing virtual auction packages for their winners. And what I mean by that is you're taking an experience that maybe used to be in person and taking it virtual. So whether that's a wine tasting where you have contacted a winery or a distributor who's going to ship 3 or 4 bottles of wine to one person, and then they set up a Zoom chat with them so that they can have a wine tasting, you might include with the package either some cheese and crackers or other things that will be paired well with that wine, or you just give a list to your auction winner and say, get these for when it's time to have our wine tasting. There's another group out there who's doing a much broader wine party like that, where they're doing 12 bottles and they're saying, we're going to ship it to 4 different addresses. And now we're going to all come together at the same time and have a wine tasting party, right? So it's just another unique way to transition to that virtual atmosphere. We're seeing people do it with cooking classes. We're seeing people doing it with meet and greets, not only with celebrities from the sports and entertainment world, but we also have a group who's doing meet and greets on Broadway, where they have Broadway actors who are doing meet and greets where you get a chance to meet and talk to these actors and actresses as part of your auction package. So you no longer can get tickets and send people to go see the show of Hamilton, but you certainly can find a way to have a contact to get you a meet and greet with one of the actors. And what a unique opportunity that is. So again, just lots of great opportunities still to go out and do the ask and get the auction items that'll help you raise some great funds.
Awesome. Yeah, it's incredible the things that we can do. And what I love too is that having this technology of your production company and your mobile services platform, we are still absolutely able to facilitate a bid from the heart live with your guests, right? You know, that opportunity to encourage your guests to make a donation, knowing that they are not receiving a spa day or a wine basket or any of those great items you were just talking about, Jason, but rather, they are giving directly from their heart, and their heart is going to receive the joy of knowing they have impacted and made a difference in the lives of so many. Those are so fun to do live in studio. Talk about energy, right? The excitement to see the donations coming in live and announcing them, recognizing the donors, ringing the bell right on the spot. It's so fun, right, Jason? Isn't that, I love that we get to do that with our guests.
A lot of people thought that part of the program might have to go away for whatever reason, but it still remains the easiest money you'll make at your event. It's the freest money you'll make at your event. You don't have to sell a sponsorship. You don't have to get an auction item. All you have to do is get somebody to watch and then leave it up to your auctioneer to go out and do the ask and go out and get the money. We really believe that even in this virtual setting, it's the way to make the most money at your event. Understand that the auctioneer has what's called a confidence monitor. That's the monitor that the auctioneer can see, but your guests at home don't necessarily see. And on that screen, that's where they see the mobile donations coming in. There are ways to identify the donors on the screen for the people at home to see as well. But that screen, especially for the auctioneer, is so important. So he or she knows not only who's donating, what order they're donating in, how much they're donating, and can acknowledge and thank them. We have pre-recorded some videos in the past where you might have someone who's going to do a leading gift for your bid from the heart or a matching gift. And we want it to look live, and we'll certainly talk about that in our session about the production of these programs. But we want it to look live, but it doesn't necessarily have to be live. And we've had the leading gift giver, donor, do a video that just comes on and says, hey, listen, I believe in the mission of this organization to the tune of $10,000. Who's with me? Who's going to follow my lead, right? And that not only gives them the exposure and the spotlight for them or their company, whoever's making that donation, but it also energizes others to give, right? In the bid from the heart, you know, you also have heard it called the ask and the give and the cash call and the paddle raise, the fund and need. It's got 100 different names. But whatever you call it, I will just tell you that bidding breeds bidding. Donating breeds donating. So if you can get someone to kick you off and to get it started and get the momentum going, you're going to have great success. So please continue to do your bids from the heart in your virtual event, because they will continue to raise you money.
Absolutely. Well, guys, this wraps it up for session 2. We truly hope these keys of having and using a mobile services platform and all these incredible tips on a fun and engaging silent and live auction, and of course, that bid from the heart, will unlock another door for you to ensure that you get to elevate your event and host a very successful virtual event. So make sure to watch session 3, Run a Virtual Show, some amazing tips on content and steering the ship. So again, thank you so much, Gregory Smith from Qtego Fundraising Services. Thank you so much, Jason Alpert with Alpert Enterprises. And we wish you all an amazing day.